morning. Happy Palm Sunday. As we head into this week leading up to our Easter celebration, I want to make sure everyone knows we're moving live services back downtown beginning next weekend with our Easter service at 10:30 a.m. at the Capitol Theater and at our new Kids Center, where we're going to be having the Adventure Kids program. So to get more information, head on over to the website, use the link under Easter, and we hope you'll plan to join us and bring a guest or a few guests with you. Now, I also want to let you know that this week we're going to do something we've done for years now. There's going to be a self-guided Stations of the Cross experience this coming Friday, April 15th, which is Good Friday. And this is going to be at the Vineyard building on Warden Run Road. So you can stop by any time that day between 10 and 6 and have a chance to slow down for a few minutes and spend some time considering what the Easter celebration is all about as you head in to the weekend. Well, we have a bit of a different message today and some really great things to celebrate. So right after we have some time in worship, Chris, our lead pastor, will be here. And we hope that by the end of our time together, you are encouraged.
Silences the enemy. Let praise be a weapon that conquers all anxiety. Let it rise. Let praise arise. We sing your name in the dark and it changes everything. We sing with all we are and we claim your victory. Let it rise, let praise arise. Here we go. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, let faith be the song that overcomes the raging sea. Let faith be the song that calms the storm inside of me. Let it rise. Let faith arise. Let it rise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, this is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him
Well, hello and welcome back, everyone. Excited to be with you this Palm Sunday weekend. For everybody watching online, of course, our church at home groups and all the folks down at Hohog and East Wheeling, it is a privilege and a pleasure to be with you. This is the weekend of Palm Sunday. And Palm Sunday is the beginning of what we call Holy Week. And Holy Week is the last week before Jesus is crucified and then ultimately risen from the dead next Sunday, which is when we celebrate Easter. And it's the most significant week in Jesus' life. It's the reason that he came, but we're going to do things a little bit differently this year. Rather than preaching a message on Holy Week, what I'm going to invite you to do all week long, each and every day, is to enter the story of Holy Week. To spend some time each day reading scriptures that correspond with what was going on that week, spending some time reflecting on that. And we're going to read through the book of John together, starting in John chapter 11. And I want to challenge you to read John, before the end of the day, read John chapter 11 and 12 and take a little bit of time and reflect on that. Now, we're starting before the triumphal entry where people were throwing palm branches on the ground. We're starting with the resurrection of Lazarus, because this is where the momentum really gets going. Lazarus was a close friend of Jesus. He died. He was in the grave for several days before Jesus made it to the town that he lived in. And Jesus famously says, "Lazarus, come out of," and he comes out of the tomb. And everybody is now buzzing about Jesus possibly being the Messiah, being the one, and the rest of the week unfolds from there. And so each day, Monday, you're going to read John 13, Tuesday, John 14 and 15, and on, all the way through next Saturday, where you'll read John 20 and 21. Now, you can access this schedule a couple different ways. It will be on the website. You can download the notes for this week's message, and it will be there. If you are in our database, we will email you daily with the reading for that day. But do it, engage that way. That's the first way I want you to enter the story. The second way that I want to invite you and challenge you to enter the story is this. On Friday, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., at Warden Run, our campus on Warden Run, we are going to be doing something called the Stations of the Cross. And it's an experience, it's an opportunity to slow down with pictures, with music, with scriptures, with communion, and an opportunity for prayer to just slow yourself down and again, enter the story of Jesus' crucifixion. And that will be on Friday, Good Friday, at the church building on Warden Run Road. I want to invite you, if you can get there, to make it a priority to come to the Stations of the Cross experience on Friday. And if you have kids that are too small to participate with you, we will have childcare available as well. The third thing that I want you to do to enter the story this week is simply this. As you are reflecting on what Jesus did, his sacrifice, as just the entire passion experience that this week involves, I want you to remember that he did not just die for you. Absolutely reflect on the implication to your life, but remember that he has come and he went through this torture and he rose from the dead and conquered death for everybody that you know, everybody that you will ever know. And when he saves us, he invites us and calls us into the greatest purpose for our life, which is helping other people find and follow God. And Easter is the easiest time to extend an invitation for people to hear the gospel of Jesus. See, we have this phenomenon in our culture where people show up to church who never go to church, but they'll show up to church on Easter and Christmas. And it's the easiest invitation of the year, and it's the greatest opportunity to present the gospel, which we will do next Sunday on Easter morning. And so invite people, invite everybody that you would ever think of to invite to church. Invite. And to help you, we have sent out 50,000 postcards. We have billboards. We've got internet promotion going on. There's even radio ads in the community going on and have been for a while. And that's not to get people to come to church. because people don't come to church because they got a postcard or heard something on the radio. They come to church because they got a postcard or heard something on the radio, and then their friend of theirs invited them. It's plowing the soil. It's getting the soil ready for the invitation. And that is your job. This week, plan on inviting as many people as you can. Bring them with you. And let's fill the Capitol Theater to the brim with people this weekend. And we will present the gospel, and it will be quite the celebration. And if you know people with kids, we have the Kids Center all set up and ready to go. It's going to be an amazing Easter celebration this year. And I hope that you just don't show up by yourself, but that you bring somebody with you. So, I'm not going to preach a Palm Sunday message. My plan today is to celebrate, to pause, to be grateful, and to share with you all that God has done over the last couple of years. It's been quite a journey. You know, I say this every time I get a chance. I think I get to go to church and with some of the best people on the planet. Honestly, you all are some of the most generous, kind, grace-filled people on the planet, and I love my church because of that. I love being the pastor here, but if I weren't the pastor here, I'd love going to church here just because of the kinds of people that God has put in the Vineyard in Wheeling, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And we see this expressed in all kinds of ways, from open arms when people walk through the door or come back after being gone for a while, to the generosity of this congregation. You know, over the years, we have been doing something in November, called Be the Blessing. And it's a generosity campaign, generosity with our finances and generosity with our time to serve our community and give it away. And it started out, I think we called it Be Rich originally, but it eventually Be the Blessing is the name that we landed on. And we've been doing this for years and years and years. And over the years, we have seen every year you all exceed our goals for what we want to raise and give away and make a difference with in our community and around the world. And we've done everything from make over an orphanage for boys in Elm Grove and take it from an institutional vibe to a homey vibe. And I mean, just an amazing transformation there. We've helped Madison School with countless projects. We've been feeding the homeless. We've been supporting pregnancy counseling in our community. We've helped different ministries and different programs over the years. It depends on what year, what program we're supporting. We've been doing a food drive every year. And you guys raise pretty consistently between 3 and 4 tons of food a year. And we've been doing that for years and years and years to stock the house of the carpenter for the Christmas season and into the new year so that people who come to their food pantry have food to eat. And we've been doing Operation Christmas Child, which, if you're not familiar with that, is we all pack shoe boxes with toys and we send them around the world to kids who will not get a Christmas present otherwise. And this has been going on since the 1990s, but we got involved, I don't know how many years ago, 10 plus years ago. We have sent thousands and thousands of these boxes. I think we sent over 600 boxes just from our church, and we are the regional processing center for Operation Christmas Child. So we process literally thousands of boxes every year and ship them around the world. And so it's been quite an amazing run. But this year for Be the Blessing, well, this year was a different thing altogether. We typically, as many of you know, try to raise somewhere around $25,000 to do good with around our community. And you all usually beat that by a significant amount, double or more, and we end up getting to do even more good. And we love that. It shows the generosity that God has put in the hearts of the people who call the Vineyard Church in Wheeling home. This year, though, we had some big, hairy, audacious goals. This year, we wanted to start a rehab program, which was about $260,000 to seed that program, working with Hope Center Ministries. We wanted to start a new after-school program. We had still needed to feed the homeless through the winter, and so we were adopting a ministry in Costa Rica to feed street children, and on and on and on. And so we needed to raise about $300,000 this year, which was a big, hairy, audacious goal to go from $25,000 to $300,000. We've announced before that we hit that goal. In fact, we've more than hit that goal. We far exceeded it. We've got people donating large sums of money who don't even come to church here, who live on the other side of the country because they heard about the project. It's been amazing. And I want to tell you what's going on. I want to give you an update and celebrate what God has been doing with this. Hope Center, we were expecting to have to raise that money over the course of a year to get that up and running, and we need this. This is a need in our community, right? Addiction is out of control. It's killing so many people. And so, we were going to lean in and we're going to do it, but didn't expect to hit our goal. But within 5 weeks, we had exceeded our goal. And Hope Centers right now, I talked to Steve, who is the director of getting new centers started. Their plan is to make Wheeling kind of the hub for the region. And they are looking to either purchase land and build right away or purchase a house, a large house and some property, and get it renovated and ready to go. But before the end of the year, we will have, God willing, in the Creek Don't Rise, a Hope Center going here in the Ohio Valley. And so that is so exciting. They are not waiting around. They are working on it behind the scenes. They've been working with a realtor. Of course, as most of us know, the inventory for housing around here is pretty low, so we're working to find a place. If you have property that's within 20 minutes of the church and you want to sell 5 acres, let me know, because we'll get it going. Keys for Cougars is the after-school program that we started on Friday afternoons, and didn't know what to expect at Madison with this program, but we have over 60 kids showing up each week for this after-school program, and you guys have made that possible, and it's up and running, and next semester is going to be bigger and better than this semester. We've got people mentoring. We have been doing mentoring at Madison with kids one-on-one. Now we have classroom mentors coming in each week, and we have one-on-one mentors, guys, and the impact on the kids is unbelievable. And we adopted a ministry called Feed My Sheep. And Feed My Sheep is feeding street children on the streets of San Jose, Costa Rica. I was just down there about 2 months ago, visiting and checking things out. We just purchased food this past week for the next 3 months to feed these kids, and working with Pastor Caesar and his wife Vanessa in their little church to feed somewhere between 75 and 100 kids a week, or a day. And for many of these kids, it's the only meal that they will get. But we fully funded our goal for that with Be the Blessing. And again, I just want to celebrate and just be grateful to God for what he has done. Of course, we cooked the free shelter food. We do this each year. If you're not familiar with that, we cook food for the Youth Services System sponsors a freeze shelter for the homeless to get them off the street through the coldest months of the year. We cook about 80% of that food, and we put it in a frozen warehouse downtown. We cook it all in a week. Miss Cheryl and her team come in and just rock it. And these are not skimpy meals. These are wholesome, nutrient-packed meals. Usually we have either one or several farmers donate beef. And so we cook these meals, we freeze them, they eat them all winter long, they are well nourished and get the protein and nutrients they need to stay warm throughout the day. And again, you guys make that happen year in, year out. I was just having a conversation with somebody last week who's a farmer, and he's like, I've got a cow, do you want it now or do you want it in the fall? I said, keep it till the fall. But I just love the way you guys lean in and try to to be the hands and feet of Christ in practical, be the blessing kind of ways, and in sharing your faith, and in inviting people to be a part of what is going on. You know, one of the things that we raised money for with Be the Blessing this year was just, again, providing food for the folks at Hohog. And I'm speaking directly to the folks at Hohog in this message. So hi, guys. Love you all. But if you all could just take a moment and appreciate and give some thanks to the folks who gave to be able to provide food for you guys on Sunday mornings and all of that. It's just amazing. And I want everyone who's watching to know that, you know, a few weekends ago, we baptized a bunch of people at our Warden Run campus, but the following weekend, we baptized 12 people down at our Hohog campus, our Hearts of Hope, Hands of God campus for the homeless in East Wheeling, and God is on the move. There's so much to celebrate. Guys, there's so much going on at the Vineyard Church. And, you know, as we've gone through COVID, it's been an interesting ride. I mean, we have had to adapt in so many ways. And I've watched as churches have struggled all over the place to even make it through. And in the midst of that, guys, this church is alive. It is growing. It has grown. It is amazing. You know, we have around 30 groups, life groups going. We've got our Mothers of Preschool group, which the building, again, on Warden Run Road every Monday is full of moms and little preschool kids. The whole hallway smells like diapers. It's awesome. And they get together and they find life together and they lean into God together, and we're reaching well beyond just our church with our MOPS ministry. We have a ministry called Stephen's Ministry that our prayer and care team leans into. These folks have been trained to walk with people through the difficult situations of life so that you're not alone when you're going through a hard time, but that you can lean into your church and then we'll pair you with somebody and they'll pray with you and coach you and listen to you and help you through that season. And they're trained to do that and they're good at what they do. And that is amazing. You know, on any given Sunday night here at Warden Run, we have our 180 ministry, which is our youth ministry, somewhere between 60 and 80 youth showing up every week, hearing about Jesus on their level, leaning into small group life together and asking questions and learning how to follow Jesus and finding him, some of them for the very first time. On Wednesday nights, we have our college group, The Way, that comes together. And we've got, again, between 60 and 80 college students who show up every week and hear about Jesus on their level and find community and support and life together, finding the support they need to follow Jesus in a world that's kind of hostile to Jesus. On Sunday mornings, we'll have between 80 and 100 kids show up for our kids ministry. They bring their parents, of course, and come to our church services. And this is all through the COVID pandemic. You know, something else that just blew me away was a few weeks ago, I did a message on financial fear, and we offered Financial Peace University. And we've got 90 folks showing up for that on Tuesday nights. And I look out at that group and I think, my goodness, this is going to change not just their lives, which it will, but it will change our church and it will change our community for years and years to come. And we get to be a part of that. God is on the move. And we've got some amazing events coming up. For years, we've wanted to partner with Chick-fil-A and WinShape to do a WinShape day camp in our community. That is happening this August. So excited about that. We just did our egg hunt. We had about 3,500 people show up for that. Again, all through COVID, God is on the move. And people are dying to connect with people. Now, for you, those of you watching online, I want to invite you to come back in person. You know, and let me give you the kind of the rundown of how we've gotten to where we are now and where we're going from here. You know, COVID landed about a little over 2 years ago, and everybody went inside, including us. We went online. Well, let me back up before that. So we were meeting here, and we were meeting at the Highlands, and we had outgrown our space here at Warden Run Road. And when we had outgrown it, we had said, well, we've got to make more space, because the reason we exist is to help people find and follow God. And if there is one person in our community who doesn't know Jesus, we're going to continue to reach out and invite and share the gospel and all of that. But if we don't have room for them, we can't include them, we can't incorporate them, we can't teach them, so we have to have space. We can't reach people we can't see. So we made the difficult call to leave the building that we were comfortable with. The church just left the building with Elvis, and go mobile and go to the Capitol Theater. And that's where we were. And we were meeting there for a while, and then COVID hit. And things were going pretty well at the Capitol. The challenge was the children's space wasn't quite big enough, but things were going pretty well. When COVID hit, of course, we went online like everybody else did, and we saw the church grow online. We were reaching more people than we were reaching when we were meeting in person. Well, after several months of that, we decided for the summer months to meet outside at Heritage Port, when God blessed us with one of the most beautiful, nice weather summers we've ever had. That was amazing, because we were one of the few churches that was meeting in person. And again, the church grew as we were meeting outside at Heritage Port. But as it happens every year, the weather turns in October. And we decided at that point, looking at what was going on in churches all over the country, and that only about 20 to 30% of the population would feel comfortable coming back inside to meet together at that point in the pandemic. There was still a lot of fear. We decided, rather than focusing on 20 to 30% of the church, let's focus on 100% of the church and put together a church service to take into homes for people to gather together with the people that they were comfortable gathering with. We called it Church at Home. And we had family groups, we had neighborhood groups, we had small groups that were used to meeting together before, gathering together. And we started a campus in East Wheeling for the homeless called HOHOG, which I've already discussed in this message. But we started that, which is now running between 40 and 50 people a weekend. And we saw great engagement with Church at Home. And we would pre-produce the services during the week and upload them to the internet. And all you had to do is plug in a Roku and hit play, and your group, it was questions for your group and the whole deal. And that went on until last Easter, so about a year ago, where we came back in person at our Warden Run campus. Again, probably back up to about 60% of the population was comfortable coming back at that point. But we saw huge numbers online. So again, our numbers were bigger than they were before COVID. I mean, just blessed, so blessed to be able to continue to reach out and connect with people in the midst of all of that. Well, if you have been, which if you're watching online, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, if you've been to Warden Run over the last couple of months, we are out of space again. We have outgrown the building again. And we are going back to the Capitol Theater for church services starting next weekend. We are going to be doing one service for Easter. And we can seat about, 2,300 people at the Capitol. I think we'll be okay. If you're watching online and you haven't been back, I want to invite you to come back this weekend. Come back. It's time to come back if you at all possibly can. And be in person with the family of God. It's different than watching online. Watching online is good, and if you live further than 30 minutes or however far is too far to drive, then I totally understand, and I don't want to chase you off. I'm not saying that. But if you live within driving distance of the church, it's time to come back. And this Easter would be a perfect time to do it. Now, we're making this move to the Capitol because of our mission. Because as long as there's one person who doesn't know Jesus in our community, we need to make space for him. That's why we're doing it. And yes, I think the entire staff team would love to stay here at Warden Run Road. It's very comfortable, but we can't get anybody else in the door. So we're not going to. We're going to sacrifice our comfort for the sake of the mission and the vision of our church. And you know, at the end of the day, the Capitol is a phenomenal facility, and we are very blessed to be able to be there. But here's what I want to say, and as we've talked through the last series that we did on fear, gratitude is so important. And I hope that as I share these stories, that your heart is filled with gratitude for what God has done in your church and is doing through your church, and through, not just through your church, by extension, through your life, through your giving, through your generosity, through your participation, and hopefully through your invitation to change our community and to change our world. We are so very blessed. Now, next weekend is Easter. And I desperately want you to experience the full impact of what Jesus has done. And so, again, I want to invite you to take time each week, or each day, take time each day and read the scriptures that we have outlined, John 11 through John 21. I want you to take some time on Friday, if at all possible, and come to 647 Warden Run Road and go through the Stations of the Cross between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. And I want you to take time this week and invite people to come. Bring as many people with you as you can. Guys, it's part of the reason Jesus leaves us on earth after we find him, is to be in partnership with him and helping other people find and follow. And guys, this is the easiest opportunity, the most strategic invitation of the year. And so bring your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, bring everyone you possibly can with you next Sunday. And like I said, we have a new kids center across the street. It's on the corner of 10th and Main. It is huge, and we've got just wonderful space. We've had volunteers working on it. That's the other thing we need to celebrate, is our volunteers who have been working tirelessly to get that space ready for this weekend and for every weekend beyond, because we're going to be at the Capitol Theater from next weekend, from Easter Sunday on, with a few exceptions during the year. We'll meet outside, or we'll be back at Warden Run because of scheduling conflicts. But for the most part, we're going to be at the Capitol so that we can help the Ohio Valley find and follow God. Next weekend, I'm announcing a new sermon series that we're going to kick off after Easter, and you're not going to want to miss it. We'll see you then. God bless.
Well, I have a feeling a lot of us heard something about what God is doing through the Vineyard that we didn't know about, or maybe we just didn't know so much about. And you know, sometimes it's important to not only get caught up, but to pause and give God the glory for all he is willing to do through us as his church. So if you call the Vineyard home, again, we hope you're encouraged. And if you're new, we hope you'll stick around to find your place and join in. Well, as we wrap up today, I want to remind you of what Chris encouraged us to do this week as we prepare for Easter. So today, start by reading John chapters 11 and 12, and then each day this week, read 1 or 2 chapters. And you can actually see a breakdown on the Connect card on the website if you'd like a pre-made schedule for each day. And it's really not that much to read, but it can be a simple and even a profound way to focus your mind and your heart on what this season is all about. And then we hope to see you and those that you've invited on Easter next Sunday at the Capitol.